Okay, so iterate is the dot reduced method. Another widely used iteration method is dot reduce. The dot reduce method returns a single value after iterating through the elements of an array, thereby reducing the array. Take a look at the example below. Const numbers 1, 2, 4, 10. Const sum numbers dot reduce accumulator, comma current value, return accumulator plus, we iterate through the numbers array. So iteration accumulator, current value, first, second, and third. Right, so now let's go over the use of dot reduce for the example above. Numbers in an array that contains numbers. Sum numbers is a variable that stores the returned value of invoking dot reduce on numbers. Numbers dot reduce calls the dot reduce method on the numbers array and takes in a callback function as an argument. The callback function has two parameters, accumulator and current value. The value of accumulator starts off as the value of the first element in the array, and the current value starts as the second element. To see the value of accumulator and current value change, review the chart above. As dot reduce iterates through the array, the return value of the callback function becomes the accumulator value for the next iteration. Current value takes on the value of the current element in the looping process. The dot reduce method can also take an optional second parameter to set initial value for accumulator. Remember, the first argument is the callback function. For instance, const numbers equal 1, 2, 4, 10. In the array, const sum numbers equals numbers.reduce accumulator, comma current value, return accumulator plus current value. Our second argument for dot reduce, which is just after the curly brace, comma 100. Okay. Console.log sum numbers. Initially was supposed to only give 17, right? Accumulator plus current value. So output is 117. So here's an updated chart that accounts for the second argument of 100. Current value 2, accumulator 101, return value 103. Okay. So now instructions. Let's practice calling .reduce and using console.log to check the values as .reduce iterates through the array. In main.js, there's an array of numbers, new numbers. To start, declare a new variable named newSum using the const keyword. Assign to newSum the value of calling .reduce on new numbers. So newSum is equal to new numbers. Reduce. Okay, use that type error. So provide .reduce with an argument of a callback function. The callback function has two parameters. The first parameter is accumulator. And the second parameter is current value. So number 3, check the value being used as we iterate through the array. Add 3 statements to the function body of the callback. Console.log the value of the accumulator. Console.log the value of the current value. So return statement that adds accumulated to current value. So we can say current value dot push current value plus accumulator. All right, so the value of accumulator 1, the value of current value 2. Yeah. Current value 3, accumulator 4, 9, 5, 7. Okay. Great. So now number 4. Log the value of new sum to the console to see the return value of dot reduce on new numbers. See the return value of calling dot reduce on new numbers. So we're gonna console.log just outside the concise body new sum. So with the dot reduce method, it returns 16. Okay, so number 5. While we have this code set up, let's also check what happens if you add a second argument to dot reduce. The second argument acts as an initial value for accumulator. So add a second argument of 10 to dot reduce. Okay, so when they're talking about second argument, they're talking about just after 10, yeah. It's probably more like so. 10. That's right. Okay, so now when we add that second argument, it adds 10 to that 16 to the dot reduced number. Okay, so that's 26. That's correct. All of this code is now right. So let's move on. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. And I hope you guys have a wonderful evening.